Mama Winnie was not afraid to take on the apartheid regime. She spent almost a year in prison in 1969 at the old women's jail on Constitution Hill here in Braamfontein in Johannesburg. eNCA reporter Lirandzu Themba is there for Newsday. Lirandzu, good afternoon to you. And pick up that very important part of the story for us. This is a historic landmark in more ways than one.
Absolutely, Jeremy. This is where a lot of women, whether they were criminals or even apartheid activists were detained. And just behind me is the confinement space where about 6 cells are situated right behind me. Fair enough. Winnie Mandela was not arrested and held in this space, particularly in this prison. However, she was arrested in 1958 alongside Albertina Sisulu, Jeremy, and she was pregnant at the time. It was also where she had a scare of almost having a miscarriage, and it is thanks to Albertina Sisulu's medical skills, as we know that she was a nurse at the time. She was able to really overcome this crisis. But of course, Jeremy, as you've mentioned, Mama Winnie was detained, and she even says in her memoir, in her book titled 491 Days, that she even lost count of how many times she was detained. And of course, it was those times that she was taken away from her 2 children, and she was detained and held in confined spaces in a confinement area, very similar to this one, Jeremy. I'm going to just step away so that you can see just how small even the doors of these cells are, Jeremy. And it is in these kind of cells that she had to endure, you know, the most dirtiest sort of conditions. Above it all, she also had to endure a malnutritional diet, if I had to put it that way, where she was forced to eat porridge that was infested with insects. In fact, in that same memoir that I was quoting from, she was saying that she was almost losing her mind to a point where she started to have conversations with the insects, the very ants that were inside her jail cell. So it was a very difficult time for Mama Winnie Mandela. It was quite evident that the apartheid regime tried their best to really just demoralize her, to break her down, but it was not to be. She held on so tight and so strong, also just coming out even more invigorated to fight for the cause that's very close to her heart. And of course, that cause, as we know, is the freedom of her people.
All right, Lirandzu Themba, for the moment, thank you very much indeed. Live in Braamfontein for Newsday.